listeners, at the end, I have something special for you to listen to. I'm going to build that up a little bit. My son and Caroline are going to have twin babies. And so Sunday, we got to go listen to their heartbeats. And so, of course, being the grandmother, I got a stuffed animal with a recording of the little boy's heartbeat and the little girl's heartbeat. And if you're a good listener tonight, we're going to listen at the end of the broadcast to the heartbeats, because our heart is what lets us love Jesus so much and love God. And so our heartbeat is very important. It keeps us alive too. All right. Well, it's been a beautiful Thursday here in Florida. The weather's been wonderful, and in the 70s this week. It's been so great. So I've been doing a lot of listening to the birds outside singing, listening to the breeze. I love to listen to things. I love listening to God speaking to me through His Word. And the story tonight that we're going to start off with from the Rhyme Bible is the story of Samuel. And it's called Samuel Listens. And this story is from 1 Samuel, chapters 1 and 2. And it's condensed, of course. And here's a picture. And you see the little boy Samuel. Actually, you see his mother, because she played a really big part in Samuel's life. Her name is Hannah, and she's talking in the temple. Samuel listens. Hannah was sad, for she wanted a son. So she went to the temple to pray for one. She promised God, if He answered her prayer, that her son would serve in the temple there. See, she's down praying. She's talking to the priest in the temple. 9 months later, Hannah had a son. She loved her son more than anyone. But while Hannah's son was still just a lad, she took him to the temple with everything he had. She's giving him to God to serve in the temple for God. I bet that was hard for Hannah to give him up, because she loved him so much. The little boy Samuel, for that was his name, learned to help the people whenever they came. Eli would show him exactly what to do. And all the while, little Samuel grew. You can see he's serving, he's lighting candles, taking care of the temple. Then one night, when bedtime came, he heard old Eli calling his name. He ran to Eli. But Eli said, "I did not call you. Go back to bed." But Samuel just knew it was him. Then Samuel heard the voice once more. So he ran and he knocked on Eli's door. But sleepy Eli shook his head. "I did not call. Go back to bed." Well, Samuel's all confused because he just thinks Eli is calling him. Well, when it happened again, old Eli knew, and he told the boy what he should do. Listen, for God is speaking to you. So Samuel listened with all his might, and he talked with God that very night. Sometimes we hear God through His Word, the Bible, and sometimes we hear God speaking to us through the kind deeds of other people and through His beautiful creation. We can know that He loves us by the beautiful things we see around us, His beautiful creation. So we're going to read another story now. And this one's not from the Bible. This is a story by one of my favorite authors about a little possum who doesn't really listen. He could learn a lesson from Samuel. Now, his name, the possum that is, his name is Possumondus. And this story was written by Colleen Sally. And I got to meet Miss Colleen one time at a book conference. And she was dressed just like this. She had a big old yellow hat with a red flower and purple glasses. And she was so funny and such a great storyteller. She has passed away. Now, I guess that's one reason I love her book so much, because it helps her keep on living through her stories. Now, this is little Possumondus in his diaper. And I told you we have a surprise about babies at the end. So little Possumondus wears his diaper. Possumondus was his mama's and his auntie's sweet little patootie. A patootie? Cammy, do you know what a patootie is? They just loved him to death. Look at his sasser. Some of you may call that a passy or a sasser, but little Possumondus got a pacifier. A Possumondus used to go see his auntie most every day, and she nearly always gave him something to take home with him. One day, she gave him a piece of rich gold cake. A Possumondus took it in his hand, scrunched his hand up tight, and he went along home with his cake in his hand so tight. Well, on his way home, he passed Alligator, and Alligator asked, "What you got, Possumondus?" "Cake," he replied. Don't look much like cake to me," said old Alligator. When a Possumondus got home, his mama looked at that fistful of crumbs and she said, Possumondus, what do you have in your hand?" "Cake, Mama. Auntie gave it to me." "Oh my word. Is there any cake left?" "Oh, Possumondus, you don't even have the sense you were born with. That's no way to carry cake. The way to carry cake is to put the cake on your head, put a hat on your head, and come along home. Do you hear me, Possumondus?" "Yes, Mama." So by and by, on another day, when Possumondus was visiting his auntie, this time she gave him a pound of freshly churned butter to take home with him. So Possumondus put it on his head, put his hat on top of his head, and he went along home. So see, Possumondus with butter on his head. Look at it dripping on him. On his way home, he passed Raccoon, and Raccoon asked, "What do you got, Possumondus?" "Butter," he replied. It don't look much like butter to me," said Raccoon. When Possumondus got home, his mama looked at him and she said, "Possumondus, what do you have in that hat?" "Well, butter, Mama. Auntie gave it to me." "Oh, Possumondus, you don't have the sense you were born with. That's no way to carry butter. The way to carry butter is to wrap it up in some leaves and carry it down to the brook, and you cool it in the water, and you cool it in the water, and you cool it in the water. And then you take it up carefully. Now listen. You put it in your hands, and you come along home. Do you hear me, Possumondus?" Look at him all covered with butter. Yes, Mama, I hear you. So by and by on another day, of course, when Opossumandus was visiting his auntie, this time she gave him a sweet little puppy to take home with him. So Opossumandus did what Mama said. He wrapped it up in some leaves and he carried it down to the brook. And he cooled it in the water, and he cooled it in the water, and he cooled it in the water. And he took it up carefully in his hands. He almost drowned that little puppy, and he went along home. Look at that little wet dog. Oh my! On his way home, he passed Nutria. And Nutria asked, "What do you have, Opossumandus?" "A puppy," he replied. Well, it don't look much like a puppy to me," said Nutria. Look at the puppy all covered in leaves. Oh! When Opossumandus got home, his mama looked at that poor little bedraggled puppy and she said, "Opossumandus, what do you have in your hands?" "A puppy, Mama. Auntie gave it to me." Oh, Opossumandus, Opossumandus, you don't have the sense you were born with. That's no way to carry a puppy. The way to carry a puppy is to put the puppy on the ground, take a piece of string, and tie it around the puppy dog's neck. And you take the piece of string and you come along home, and that puppy will follow. Do you hear me, Opossumandus? Are you listening? "Yes, Mama." Oh my! Well, by and by, on another day, when Opossumandus visited his auntie, this time she gave him a freshly baked half loaf of bread to take home with him. Opossumandus put the bread on the ground, like Mama said. He tied a piece of string around it. He took the other end of the string, and he went along home, dragging the bread right behind him. On his way home, he passed Armadillo, and Armadillo asked, "What do you have, Opossumandus?" "Bread," he replied. Oh, it don't look much like bread to me," said Armadillo. And when Opossumandus got home, his mama looked at the thing on the end of the string. And she said, "Opossumandus, what do you have on the end of that string?" "Bread, Mama. Auntie gave it to me." Oh my! Oh, Opossumandus, Opossumandus, you don't have the sense you were born with. You never did have the sense you were born with. You never will have the sense you were born with. Now, I'm not telling you any more ways of bringing truck home. And I don't want you going to see your auntie anymore either. I'll just go see her myself. Oh, so Opossumandus's mama got her basket. But before she left, she said, "Opossumandus, do you see those 6 pies cooling? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's got to be one behind her. 6. They're cooling on the porch." "Yes, Mama," said Opossumandus. "Well, Opossumandus, you listen. You be careful about stepping on those pies." And then Mama went off to see Auntie. Well, Opossumandus was careful about stepping on those pies. He stepped right in the middle of every one. He stepped on the pies. Did he listen to Mama? Mama said be careful about stepping on them. What you think? Malachi, you think he should have stepped on those pies? But he did. Right in the middle. You think Appossomondus listened? Or did he only listen to what he wanted to hear? Yeah, well, this is called a folk story or a noodlehead story, because the main character in the story always does something silly. Now, you can think Appossomondus wasn't too sharp, but I think he only listened to what he wanted to hear. But these are very fun stories. Do you know anybody that might listen kind of like Appossomondus does? They only hear what they want to. Well, I hope you've enjoyed our stories tonight. Samuel listened to God and followed what God wanted him to do in his life. And Appossomondus listened, but he only did what he wanted to with it, and only heard what he wanted to hear. So it's important that we listen, but we listen to God and do what he says. And we follow his word and his instructions. Now, I told you I had a little surprise at the end. We went on Sunday, because I'm going to be the grandmother of twins. I told you I'd let you listen to something special. Well, we went on Sunday, and we got to hear the heartbeats of the twins. Now, what's exciting about my twin grandbabies, we're going to have a boy. So I got a turtle for the boy, and we're going to have a little girl. The little boy's going to be Aiden. See my A's over here? A. This is Aiden and Adeline. They both have names that start with A. So first off, we're going to listen to Adeline's heartbeat. Now, she wasn't cooperating just as well. She was a little turned, a little crooked. So we had to really listen. See if you can hear it. Hear it? Did you hear it? That's a baby's heartbeat. I bet you didn't know. Some of you didn't know that's what your heart sounded like when you were a baby. It's just it's kind of cool. Now, this is Aiden's heartbeat. They recorded it. Listen. Isn't that about the coolest thing? So I've been listening a lot to heartbeats, and I've been listening to things people have said, and I love listening to kind words, and I love listening to Jesus talk to me through the Bible, and I hope you do too. And I hope you'll join us again next Thursday night for Lori, What's the Story? Because we're going to have another one. All right. You guys have a great evening. Thanks for joining, and have a great rest of the week. Bye-bye.